I was asked, instructed, told, ordered to make this evening like at our centre in Perth, the Friday nights live at our monastery in Australia, because many of you apparently have told me, watch me on YouTube. And many of you are heartbroken that tonight there is not any live teaching on YouTube from Ajahn Brahm. Actually this evening, it's already gone now, this evening the talk was from my protege, a monk called Ajahn Brahm, and his parents are here today. And so any of you who've seen Ajahn Brahm give talks, and he's becoming really popular too, go and say hello to Alf and Liv over there, and his sister as well. His sister is wearing a bald head because she's got aspirations to become a nun as well. Very good. That's Christina, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So, for this evening, we're going to start with a guided meditation. Now, for these meditations, it's a meditation retreat. I'm supposed to be serious, but when people get serious, they get far too tense. And that's the opposite of meditation. So please, relax. Meditation is the easiest thing in the world. When you take away this terrible seriousness, trying to get things, do stuff, achieve stuff. This isn't about getting anywhere. This is about being where you already are. Travelling around the world, walking from this beautiful little hotel, a Quaker hotel around the corner to here. I hardly saw any human beings at all. Only human goings and doing stuff. And people say, what about you, Ajahn Brahm? I said, I don't go anywhere. I just sit in an aircraft perfectly still in Australia, and I get off in London. I don't move, the aircraft moves, but not me. So this is actually how to create stillness wherever you are. Peace. But when you try and get somewhere, you will find you get more tense and also tired. So in this meditation, we're just going to learn how to be. And we're going to start by being with our bodies. It's amazing just how many people get sick because they haven't been aware of their body. The body gives you many, many warnings. And if you're aware of them, you can relax, create a sense of energy and peace in the body, and it usually lasts a long time, even when people have cancers. I've had some really amazing results, and if you go to any cancer support group, when you talk about meditation, I say yes, please do so, because it helps. So I'm going to start this meditation by letting you become aware of your body, not just aware of it, but developing this beautiful kindness, letting it be, relaxing, so that your body relaxes and allows some energy, some healing to happen. But it's not just for the healing of the body, because what relaxes your body makes it healthy. You next apply to your mind, and that relaxes and becomes very healthy as well. And even for people, I've been interested in this for a long time, with people with mental illnesses as well, and how we can apply meditation to assist there as well. So it's a lovely little area where we can use this particular idea of relaxation, peacefulness, stillness, to help in many areas of our world. And I'm trying to help and be of service to people in the cutting edge of psychiatry. Not just ordinary mindfulness to deal with depressions, but take it much further. Schizophrenia, and again, bipolar, all those sorts of things, to see how we can use the mind to heal the mind. Interesting stuff. Well, hopefully you'll enjoy and learn a lot on this retreat. So, if you'd now like to close your eyes, if you haven't meditated before and you're an expert, you don't have to worry about the thing, I am going to guide you. About half an hour, maybe about 25 minutes. So with your eyes closed, please ask your body if it is comfortable. Can you adjust your body to make it more comfortable? Start by being aware of your legs. Do you need to, if you're sitting on a chair, to push them forward, the feet forward, or push the feet back to separate the feet? How do your legs feel? How is your bottom? Does that need to be adjusted on the chair or on the cushion to make that more comfortable? If you're not aware of how you position your body to begin with, you're going to get aches and pains which will disturb you later on. This is basic mindfulness and kindness. You're caring about your own body. And please don't pass over this too quickly. Your body does need your attention. And here you have the time to be able to be aware of your body. And how's your back? So many people suffer back problems because they're not aware of how they're putting their back when they're working, walking, sleeping. Because they lack that awareness, sometimes they injure their back just because of negligence. So is your back comfortable? Does it need to be stretched, relaxed? Move to the left, move to the right, until you find the optimum position for your own back. Loosen your shoulders. How is your arms and hands? Are they comfortable? People fidget their hands only because they don't put them in a comfortable position at the beginning. And then become aware of your head, make sure the neck is not too tight. And lastly, see if you can be aware of the muscles around your eyes and relax them. Once you're aware of them, sometimes you can feel they're tight because you're squishing them. See if you can just relax everything. As if that your muscles are like elastic bands which you pull on both ends, stretching and making them taut. That is a cause of stress and even illness. Imagine that elastic band and letting go of one or better both ends. So the muscles become loose, relaxed, at ease. And trust that you can do these. It's only fear makes us control. And now the body is sort of relaxed. We go to the deeper level of relaxation by becoming aware of any irritation or pain in your body. How does your body feel? Just a part, focus in, like looking at Google Maps, zoom in to that part of your body which is sick, which is irritating or even painful. Zoom in on it. Don't do anything, just to get to know it. Getting to know it means being mindful of it. You can feel the different sensations, the tightness, the throb, the heaviness, the dullness. You get to know that part of the body which really needs your attention. With repeated practice, what you're doing is making neural connections in your brain, which makes you more and more and more aware of that part of the body. The more aware you are of that irritating or painful or sick part of the body, the more you can help. I have got a little irritation in my throat. I suffer from hay fever. And I'm now aware of it. And the next stage is noticing what makes it worse, what makes it better. Every time I'm afraid or control or try and do something, the irritation, ache or pain always gets worse. You can feel it. But when you are kind, when you make a friend to that feeling, when you let it be, when you embrace it, then you find whatever pain, heaviness, irritation you have becomes less of a problem. You are learning how to relax parts of the body which you never knew even existed, let alone that you could influence them by your mind. Fully aware of that part of the body. Trial and error sometimes, and you learn how to fully relax them. Sometimes you feel them getting warm. Warm because the energies, these natural energies of the body. In Indian medicine they call them winds, in Chinese qi. Those energies of the body can now go to places which really need healing. Stay aware of that part of the body and learn how to relax and make it still and easy. For those with few problems in your body, it still helps relax your body. After focusing on one irritating part of the body, I go to another, usually two, maybe three sometimes, until my body feels so at ease. I always say that this is probably as relaxed as you can possibly become, even if you go to a spa. You learn how to relax your own body by mindfulness and letting go. My body is really loose now. Quite honestly, of all the monks I live with, I'm one of the oldest, but one of the healthiest. I don't get sick, even though I don't eat healthy food. But I can know my body and heal it, relax it. I usually don't let my body go until it's really at ease, tingling with this beautiful peace of relaxation. However, that this is just an introductory meditation, so I'm going to go to the next level now. Once your body is reasonably relaxed, now you are become aware of your mind. Now what do I mean by that? I now want you to see if you can tell yourself how agitated or how relaxed you are. If your mind is very restless, excited, agitated, then give it a score of 10. If it's really peaceful, a score of 1. So please give a not accurate but rough measure of how your mind is from 1 to 10. Relaxed or agitated. Tiredness goes on the more relaxed side. Not telling anybody, so just be honest. Not trying to prove anything, just be true. Now once you have a measure of the peace of mind or agitation of mind, now see what you need to do to bring that number lower, from a 6 to a 5, from a 4 to a 3. What do you need to do to relax your mind? The very same things which relax the muscles of your body also relax the mind. You can imagine your mind, just visualize it again like an elastic band, pulled by the fear of the future, dragged by all your history and difficult things you've had to endure. Stretched, your whole mind. Now, don't pull it anywhere, don't push it anywhere, don't drag it. Let go of all ends of the elastic band. Till you're not telling your mind to do anything, not pushing it, not pulling it. Letting your mind relax. That takes the number down, down, down. Be aware of just that thing, the amount of peace of mind or the agitation of the mind. Just put your attention on that one thing. Become aware of that. Become familiar with that. And you'll find a way of inner relaxation, becoming more and more peaceful. Mindfulness allows you to get feedback. You can watch your piece, get more or less, and you get the feedback and you know why. What attitude of mind relaxed things? What attitude of mind made it tense? And once the mind reaches a certain level of calm, only then should you go on to a deeper stage of meditation, such as observing your breathing. Are you breathing in, or are you breathing out? How do you know? What feeling is it? Anywhere in the body, it does not matter where. In fact, you don't even need to be aware of where that feeling is. Just be aware of the feeling. That you know the breath is going in. You know it stopped going in. You know the breath has begun to go out. And now it's finished going out. Aware of the breath. When you first become aware of the breath, you will tend to interfere with this natural rhythm. You'll get a bit unnatural. That is usual. Just relax, and soon the breath will return to the same rhythm as when you're not watching it. And to help, as you breathe in, say to yourself in your own words, your own language, breathing in peace. Breathe in peace. Breathe out, let go. When you say the word peace, imagine it. Fill in the details. Be aware of what that word means. Peace. Breathe it in with each in-breath. And let go whatever is troubling you, emotional or physical. Let that leave your body and mind with every out-breath. Breathing in peace. Breathe out, let go. If you're suffering from something like a cancer, breathe in health. Imagine health, visualize it, feel it in your own way. Health, what is it? What does it mean to you? Breathe that in with every in-breath. Breathing in health. And breathe out the tumour, the disease, the pain. Let a little bit of it go with every out-breath. Breathing in health. Breathing out sickness. It works only if you can imagine it really fully for many minutes at a time. Breathing in peace without let go. If ever there's any noise disturbing you, imagine a bubble around you. A visible, transparent bubble, and you're inside. And the noise and disturbances are outside. It helps get that separation so you don't get involved and entangled with whatever's a long way away from you. You stay home, inside your bubble. Breathing in peace, breathe out, let go. you breathe in and out, don't tense up. See if you can imagine everything expanding, loosening, so nothing is held tight, everything is loose and free. It helps if you can make sure you're focusing in this moment, right here, right now, is where your future is being made. Only in this moment now can you do anything for your future. So just let the mind, your attention rest in this present moment. Just watching this one single in-breath or out-breath. And as if all the other breaths in the world are gone, they don't exist. All you have is just one breath, the one happening now. Is getting close to the end of this little meditation. How do you feel right now? How peaceful is your mind? How relaxed is your body? Just feel it, just know it. So you have a way of realizing how this meditation works and what it brings. Now you may open your eyes to end the meditation. There we go. Very good, you can move, you can scratch. Now, that was just an introduction to a beginning part of this thing we call meditation. Hopefully during the next couple of days you can explore it more. Just like anything else, with practice you get better. Just like any profession, like playing the piano or playing tennis, the more time you spend hitting the ball and getting the feedback by seeing if it hits the net or goes into the right part of the court, every time you do that, you'll start to know or learn how to do things better. Ooh. And you know, I've been meditating for such a long time, and I've been very fortunate to have some of the best teachers in the world who kept me on the straight and narrow for meditation. The first teacher I had, he was teaching me, remember he told me that the goal was to get these very deep meditations called jhanas. That's from the very beginning, which was really rare in those days. Only now, being a monk for so many years, and being not just a monk, not just a comedian. Although I'd love to say this, that when I was in Melbourne several years ago, I gave a talk, similar to the talks I gave this afternoon, or in the Thames Buddhist Vihara or the Chiswick Vihara, some of the talks you see on YouTube on a Friday night. And the person who was listening happened to be a professional comedian who goes on TV in Australia. And he came up to me afterwards and said, Ajahn Brahm, I'm so impressed. Not so much with your meditation and Buddhism, but with your jokes. He says it's original material and it is, the timing is perfect and every comedian needs to have an edge, something unique about them, and you're a monk. And straight away he said, I really think you will make it big in comedy. And he offered me a job in what's called the Melbourne Comedy Club. And anyone who knows Australia knows that that is where every famous comedian in Australia gets their break, where they start. It's just so well known as the breeding ground for the great comedians. However, I refused. My career in comedy ended right there. Because I decided I prefer my day job of being a monk. Okay. Can I tell a joke? Not serious? Okay. A joke. I can't tell this joke in Australia because they just don't get it. It's only in England do they understand this. And there was, and I'm going to change in nationalities this time. And because I'm English myself, the English are going to be the butt of humour here. So, Englishman, Irishman, Scotsman, Welshman in a pub. All English jokes happen in pubs. How do I know them? Because other people tell me them. It's been a long time since I've been in a pub. Anyway, but once you know that I had to give a talk in the back of a pub. You know, they have these clubs like Lions and Rotary Club. So the Rotary Club invited me to give a talk, and they said it was going to be in a pub, but you know, it's usually the back door of the pub, you can get in the back way. But in this particular pub, there's only one way in, and the front door past the bar. Now monks, we're not supposed to go in pubs. That's the last place we should be seen, especially with so many people with their iPhones, which can take photos. I'm a well-known monk, and that would really destroy my reputation. Here is Ajahn Brahm seen going into a pub. There was no other way in. So, what I did, I put my head down, focused, and ran, hoping no one would see me or stop me. You know what happened? Whatever Murphy's Law, one of the greatest laws of theoretical physics, Murphy's Law, if it's going to happen, if it can happen, it does happen. I just managed to get past the bar. I saw the room where the talk was going to be in, but somebody grabbed me by the shoulder and pulled me to the bar. Brahm, what are you drinking? Have a beer. I like going on tangents. But so I got caught, but I made sure next time I make sure that the talks aren't in pubs. But just those words reminded me of a very beautiful story you may not know here in England. You know, I know here in the UK there's always, in Europe, there's always a lot of discussion about refugees. During the Vietnam War, there were many Vietnamese refugees came by boat to Australia. And this particular refugee, you know, in a boat with a few Vietnamese refugees, made it another 1,000-mile journey to the West Australian coast. And you know, he wrote in this story, the first people he saw when he came close to the mainland were 2 Australian fishermen. And they greeted him. They didn't turn him around or tell him to go to the police. They greeted him in true Australian fashion. Good day, mate! Have a beer! And that Australian refugee is now the governor of South Australia. He was welcomed. He served. The governors of these states are honorary positions given to people who have served their, in this case state, their community, to such a level they become respected by all parts of society and honoured to actually be an example, a governor who just signs legislation, doesn't make legislation, attends functions, gives out awards, goes to schools. And that was that Vietnamese refugee who first experienced, welcome, have a beer. That's such a beautiful story. It's something which makes me proud to be half Australian, half British, and half Singaporean, half Malaysian, half something like that. Anyway, back to the story of the pub. So Englishman, Irishman, Scotsman, Welshman and a pub. And the Scotsman said, this evening the drinks are on me, because this afternoon my wife gave birth to our first child, a son. And today it is St Andrew's Day, the patron saint of Scotland, and so we decided to name our son Andrew. And the Welshman said, wow, such a coincidence. My wife gave birth to our first child, a son, on St David's Day. So we called our son David. Incredible! Said the Irishman. My first child was born on St Patrick's Day. So we called him Patrick. And the Englishman said, wow, the coincidences are amazing. My first child, a son, was born on Pancake Day. So we called him Pancake. And yeah, I tried that joke in Australia. They don't get it because they don't have pancakes. And this afternoon I said it was an Irishman who called it Pancake. So today in Englishman, the next time it'll be a Scotsman and then a Welshman. So no one criticises me for stereotyping. So anyway, where was I? I was going back to meditation. Where was I going? I don't know either. Anyway, live in the present moment, let go of the past. Happiness, so they just, no, I wasn't teaching, I was teaching something else. Okay, during this retreat, a bit of happiness and joy is an important part of successive meditation. When people are too serious, they get too tense, which means they cannot relax enough to get into deep meditation. Now honestly, that sometimes you talk about how you're sitting, your posture. If ever you want a trick which always works in meditation, don't really be concerned about how your legs are crossed or whether they're dangling off a chair. Don't have to worry whether your back is straight or whatever. It doesn't matter where your hands are. Pay attention to what your mouth is doing. Sometimes in meditation retreats I open my eyes while you're meditating and you see some poor people and I feel like coming down and giving you a hug. Say, come on, let go, relax. And I see other people meditating. And I say, you don't need any teachings. A little smile gives a joy to what you're doing. It makes it happy, it makes it fun, which means it's more likely you will stay where you are and not be restless. It's that restlessness, thinking too much, running around all over the place in the mind, which is what people say is the biggest obstacle in meditation. They can't stop thinking, they can't stop doing things. You know what happens? People use force to try and stop thinking, to try and stop wandering around. They grab hold of their mind, as I said this afternoon. Some of you were told, if your mind wanders off, bring it back. You know what happens? I did that for years. Wanders off, bring it back. 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 Then it's going to finish. Wander off, bring it back again. It never finishes, does it? So after a while, I decided, because this is how my teachers taught me, how I read in the sutras, these are the teachings of the Buddha 2,500 years ago. He knew what he was on about. Don't use force. Use wisdom. Why does your mind go wandering off? Why won't it stay put? So I developed a story in order to tell you why. One woman, afternoon off. Yeah, I'm a bit jet lagged, give me a break. One woman received a phone call on her iPhone one afternoon. It was one of her friends, not close friends, but associates. And the friend said, "Are you free this afternoon?" She said, "Yes." "Oh, great. Come for a cup of coffee. And we're going to go to my coffee shop, not the one you keep telling me about. And you're going to have a latte, because I like lattes. And you are going to eat a biscuit, a chocolate chip cookie, because those are what I like. I don't care if you don't like them, you think they're too sugary. That's what I eat, that's what you're going to eat. And we're going to sit in the back, not in the front. And we're going to talk about politics, not your stupid spirituality, because politics is really important. And we're going to stay there for 1 hour, because that's how much time I have. Now, imagine you receive a call like that on your phone. Someone telling you where you're going to go, what you're going to drink, what you're going to eat, where you're going to sit, for how long, and what you're going to talk about. Control freak. What would you do? You'd make up an excuse, anything, to get out of it. "Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Oh, I just remembered. I just have to go and make that appointment at the dentist. Oh, maybe next time." And you hang up. And you make the appointment at the dentist. To keep your precepts. Because Buddhists are very honest. We always keep our precepts, do what's right. Even today, I told Sister Chanda off. She did a terrible crime this afternoon. We were crossing the road, and the red man was still on, the green man hadn't come on yet. Bad night, bad. No, I was only teasing them again. So I said, "No, come on, we have to keep the law. We are spiritual leaders. We are moral examples. We will only cross when the green man comes on, in principle." That's being stupid, isn't it? But I have good fun. Anyway, but when it comes to principles, and we always try and keep them. So, she made an appointment at the dentist, and then another phone call came from one of her other friends. Another friend said, "Are you free this afternoon?" She said, "No, I just made an appointment at the dentist." "I was terribly sorry, because you've always been telling me about this favourite coffee shop in the back of London somewhere. And you're always saying the cappuccinos are to die for. I don't usually like cappuccinos, but you say they're really, really, really good. So I want to try it. And you're always talking about your Buddhism stuff. Now, I'm not really interested, but it's made such a difference to you. Can you tell me something about Buddhism? And we'll sit in your favourite space, not where I want to sit. And if somebody is inviting you out, not to their favourite coffee shop, but to your favourite coffee shop, and they want to drink what you like drinking, sit where you like sitting, and also a chocolate chip muffin instead of a chocolate chip cookie. Your favourite, no, blueberry muffin. A blueberry muffin. It's much more healthy than chocolate, is it? I don't know. I just eat them. I don't care about health. That's why I'm fat. Because I don't worry. People say if you worry a lot, you get thin. Me, I never worry. The people say, "Are you concerned about your weight?" Of course I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned about anything. I let go. I just let go and eat. So I'm happy. The happiness keeps me alive. It's a miserable look. This I read in a science magazine. If you are happy, especially if you laugh, your blood vessels expand. They can actually get bigger. It's been proven. If you're negative, worried, angry, fearful, your blood vessels, they actually contract. When I heard that, it answered so many questions. Why is it that fat people are always happy. It's true, isn't it? They're always jolly. Take an example. Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. He's always happy and generous, always giving a lot of things to kids, and he's always fat. And Santa Claus, he was an old man when I was young. I don't know what age he is now. Fat and happy. But why is it you never really see fat, miserable people? And the answer is that. Because if you're fat and happy, like me, your blood vessels expand. I've been happy and laughing so much for so many years. My blood vessels, they're like motorways. And they're really big motorways, not like the M25, just like multi-lane highways. So I can eat whatever I like, cholesterol, sugar, whatever, it just flows through, it never gets a traffic jam. They're very wide. But if I was miserable, if I was complaining, then my blood vessels would be very narrow, double whammy, too much gut going through, you get heart attacks, strokes. So if you are overweight, please start laughing quickly. Otherwise you're dead. And if you're fit, don't forget to be happy as well. So laughter is actually, people know it's good for the health, and that's actually why, because it expands your... Anyway, so, do you want to come to that coffee shop? They want to talk about what you're interested in, and eat and drink what you like to drink. What I would do, I say, oh, give me a moment, I'm cancelling the dentist appointment, I'll be there in half an hour. And when it comes to how long you're going to sit there, I've only got an hour, and you end up sitting there all afternoon, 3-4 hours. Time flies when you're with a good friend. The reason I say that, because that answers the reason why your mind is restless. It's like you're telling your mind, hey mind, we're going to come and watch the breath for 1 hour. You're going to sit on the floor, not on one of the chairs like those namby-pamby cream puffs. You're going to sit on a chair because that's where I want you to sit, and you're going to watch the breath. You're not going to do anything else, and you're going to do it for 1 hour, not half an hour, because that's what I want you to do. When you tell your mind what to do, where to sit, what to watch, for how long, you're like the control freak. No wonder your mind sees you, oh God, not her again, and runs away. Either goes to sleep, goes off into a fantasy, anything to get away from you. Now that is very accurate. So don't be such a control freak to your mind. Be kind to her. Compassion, kindness, love, softness, gentleness. These were the things which attracted me to Buddhism at the very beginning. And I went to some of the meditation retreats, and there was a guy coming behind me with a stick. One nod and you get hit. Is this Buddhism? Or is this North Korea? There's something really wrong there. Now fortunately I never got hit with a stick. Because what happened, this was a Zen retreat, this was up in Northumberland, Throstle Hold, if anyone's been up there. This was, wow, must be 45 years ago now. And I was sitting there in the early morning. I was a student. I got up late at night. I'm not used to getting up early in the morning then. I had to get up early in the morning. It was cold. I hadn't had breakfast yet. Sitting there and it was boring. And I started nodding, but I was always very lucky. I had an excellent karma from the past. The guy sitting next to me was nodding more than I was. He got hit first. And as soon as he got hit, my body went dead straight. I did not at all. I was terrified. So it was only fear. I wasn't peaceful. I wasn't happy. I was just scared. And that's not what meditation's about. So instead, be kind to your mind. Be kind to your body. Now the opposite way of dealing with a restless mind It was an example, exemplified by a true story of one of my great friends in Perth, Western Australia. She had a 5-year-old son, and one afternoon at home, the 5-year-old, no, it was morning, sorry, one morning, the 5-year-old son had a tantrum, ending up with, "I don't love you anymore, Mummy, I'm leaving home." 5 years of age. Now this mum, if you're going to get an award for emotional intelligence, she would win it. Because what she did with that situation, a child going crazy, throwing a tantrum, saying, "I want to leave home." The mother said, "Wonderful, darling, I'll help you pack." Now I know many of you mothers might think that and hope that, but you'd never do it. She actually did it. She went into the child's bedroom, helped him pack with all the important things of life, like his Spider-Man pants, his teddy bear, and once he packed, said, "Wait a moment, darling, before you go, I will give you a sandwich for your lunch." And so made, this was actually quite an important point of the story, and made the son his favourite sandwich, put it in a brown paper bag, and waved the son off at the door to the house. "Bye-bye, son, bye-bye, darling, have a wonderful life. Don't forget to keep in touch." And there the child went, holding a little suitcase in one hand and a brown paper bag with his favourite sandwich in the other, and walked off into his life, went down the little path to the garden gate, turned left down the road, didn't even get to the end of the road before the 5-year-old got homesick. Turned around, went through the garden gate, down the path, and the mother hadn't moved. "Welcome home, darling." True story, and you can understand the psychology of it. The sandwich was just an expression that doesn't matter what you do, darling, I'll always love you. And I want to treat you, your favourite sandwich, and have it. The mother was so kind and didn't get angry at the child for wanting to leave home, didn't try and stop it. Oh, let it go. Let it go. With kindness. And the child always comes back. That is your mind. Your mind wants to go wandering all over the place. Pack its bags, give it a sandwich, and let it go. Bye-bye, mind, off you go. Whenever you want to come back, I'll always be here for you. That actually is very powerful. That works. If you've been a monk as long as I have, you know why. You're being kind to your mind. You're not controlling it, you're letting it be, giving up craving and wanting. And that is a cause for peace and stillness. And you find after a while, your mind and you get on so well. You are literally best friends. Now, some of you, I've only been here 4 days, have been following me almost for every talk. Stalkers, I'm going to call the police. No, I'm not. Why do you do that? Many of you have heard over maybe 1,000 of my talks on YouTube. Why are you coming for more? Why is it you're coming here to listen to me? A lot of time it's because I'm never going to force you. I am the opposite of a control freak. I'm opening the door of my heart to you, no matter what you do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm always going to encourage you. And those people who live with me in my monastery, they say whenever they come and ask a problem, I always give the same answer. They come and say, "Oh, I have this terrible sexual fantasy." With monks, senior monks. You know what I say? Very good. Carry on. And that really what? What are you saying, Ajahn Brahm? You're my teacher. I say, very good, carry on. Because I'm not going to criticize you. I'm not going to put you down. I'm not going to say you're terrible, you're bad, you're not good enough. That is why people aren't peaceful. Too much self-judgment. So I'm going to affirm you. Very good, carry on. The person's got schizophrenia. Very good, carry on. How many people can say that? How many people want to cure instead of care? That's one of my amazing discoveries and teachings. Go to where it came from. I think it's about the third time I've said this on this talk. So those people stalking me, don't complain, you know what to expect. But this was a young Sri Lankan man coming to the temple when he was basically a baby, because his parents were strong followers. He was a Sri Lankan. Growing up with me, when he went to school, doing his exams, you did a bit of blessing for him to give him some confidence. When he got married, you did the blessing for him then. When he went to university, give him some good advice. You know the one reason why people come to Buddhist monks and nuns for counselling? Because we're cheap. It's true. It costs an awful lot in London to get a good counsellor. You go to a monk, no charge, and also it's much better counselling too. It is, because every now and again people send me from the YouTube. They send me from the YouTube all these cutting-edge psychologists with their new therapies, and I know where they came from. Me! I started that. Someone sent me a psychologist in Sydney charging people thousands of dollars. And he said the problem with life, with all these difficulties you face, is the simile of the hand. How big is your hand? He said. And he said, when it's up here, it's so big you cannot see anything except your hand. It's not that your hand is too big, it's your perspective. If you put your hand out here where it belongs at the end of the arm, yes, the problem hasn't got any smaller, but now you have perspective. Yeah, you can see the hand, you can see everything else other than the hand in this world, in this life. It's not such a big deal. That was my simile. That is on YouTube from talks over 20, 30 years ago. Now this Jojo in Sydney is taking it from me with no acknowledgement, no credit, was it royalties or, no, I don't get any cut at all. I don't mind a cut. But I'm actually quite happy that this is happening, because it's actually spreading, little methods which actually work, so simple. But anyway, going back to, what was I going back to? Live in the present moment, no future, no past. That's my problem, I live so much in the present moment, I forget the past. It's not Alzheimer's, it's not old age. It is just being a monk. It's monk's disease. And nun's disease as well. But anyway, so learning, it was the story of things running away. Sorry? Yeah, it was, of course it was. What are you saying? You doubted me. I'm supposed to be your teacher, he's never doubt your teacher. Anyway, very good, carry on. So when you are in love with your mind, when you've had such a wonderful time before, I've been meditating again, I think 47 years now, almost 50 years meditating. So me and my mind get on so well. I've had such wonderful, I never control my mind. I've always actually said, well, if you want to wander off you go. I'll be there when you come back. If you're tired, please go asleep. I won't force you. And because I've been so kind to my mind, it's like one of my best friends. That's what I was going to say to you. Many of you are my friends. I've known some of you for so many years. You're not like disciples and I'm not your teacher. You're my friends. And I'll do anything for you. if I possibly could. And that's because we've formed a friendship, a closeness over so many years. For many of you, that friendship has been formed on YouTube. So many of you come and say, look, it's the first time I've really seen you, but I know you. And I've been watching you all the time. And it's amazing that even some people, that came the other day, not the first, she said, I was in, I forget where they were, I think it might have been in London. Pregnant, and couldn't go to work, because I was holding the baby, and also afterwards postnatal. And I was doing nothing, so every morning I listened to your talks, recorded. And so the baby knows me. So much that when she brought them to Perth to see me, and I started talking, the baby looked up. The baby had never seen me before, but it knew me already. So that's actually when you get to know somebody, and of course the baby just no fear at all, just like seeing an old friend. So when you do this, my mind and I are so close that when I close my eyes and meditate, my mind says, yeah, you're back again. We hang out together, my mind and I. We chill out. When you're with a good friend, it's no effort at all just to hang out with them. It's really difficult to drag yourself away from them. It's not even like fun or importance, you just get close together. And that love, that kindness, is what makes you still. An important part of meditation, which is not emphasized enough. Kindness and joy, so you and your mind get on so well. Like seeing your best friend on the other side of the street, you have to stop, cross over and go and say hello. It's your friend, someone you really love and care for. And that describes my mind and me. See each other, hey, haven't meditated for a while, great to see you again, yeah, how have you been? We're just at peace together for a long period of time. No effort. So if you want to get that stability, where your mind and you are together, no restlessness, just together for long periods of time, never forget the kindness, the love, the joy of you meditating. Unfortunately, in some traditions, meditation is like going to the dentist. I've got to do this, I'm a Buddhist. People say it's good for me. Maybe one day I'll get it, but I haven't yet. And the reason is because you've been too forceful, too harsh. So what happens if you fall asleep? What's wrong with falling asleep? At least you're not breaking any precepts. You're not doing anything wrong. And sometimes I think that the more you sleep now, the less you have to sleep in the coffin, which means you live a longer life. People are afraid of sleep. Crazy. But if you want to know how to, because many people have insomnia. They go to bed and they can't sleep at night. If somebody here said I cured them of insomnia. I don't know how it was, but one of the cures of insomnia is this. And I've noticed this is just experience, but there's a lot to this. When you're sitting here meditating, tomorrow or the next day, many of you will get tired and fall asleep. And then you go home, lay in bed, and you can't go to sleep. So the answer is obvious. When you're sitting here meditating, please try to go to sleep. And you stay awake. When you go to bed tonight, please try to meditate. You're laughing because there's truth to that, isn't there? What's going on? You're not meditating, you're trying to do something. You're not relaxing. And when you want to go to sleep, you're trying to go to sleep, and that trying, causing you tension, you're not relaxing, you can't go to sleep. So one of the great causes to overcome insomnia is try to stay awake. Little reverse psychology is obvious, or even better than that. Fall asleep, stay awake, all the same. Because for me, I have to sit up here, I have to sit in chairs, I have to do lots of walking. The most comfortable place in my whole monastery is my bed. Is lay out there, stretch out beautiful duvets or blankets, your favourite pillow. Isn't that comfortable in your bed? One of your favourite places in the whole world, snuggling in to your favourite pillow. Why do you want to waste that happiness and comfort by falling asleep? Why do you want to destroy the most comfortable experience? Stretching out, laying out, oh, this is really nice. So next time this evening, when you go to bed, enjoy the wonderful mattress, the beautiful pillow, the warm duvet. And when you want to enjoy it and you say, I don't want to go to sleep, 1 more minute please, 10 more minutes, and just enjoying the comfort of my bed. I don't want to go to sleep. That is bound to send you to sleep. My cure for insomnia, trying to stay awake. Anyway, if you do fall asleep, just let yourself fall asleep. It's just tiredness. There's nothing wrong with you, which means that you fall asleep less. And in fact, because you're relaxing, you actually, and allowing yourself to be natural, energies come back pretty quickly. Sometimes it's weird, sometimes people start crying in meditation. Please allow yourself to cry. There's one Australian man, a couple of years ago, came to one of my retreats in Perth, started crying for no reason, came to see me, really concerned. What's happening? I started crying during meditation. I asked him, when was the last time you cried? He's about 40 years old, 45. He said, when I was 13. In Australia, my father said, men don't cry. And from that time on, I wasn't allowed to cry. And I told him, you've got a lot of crying to catch up on. And he did. He was crying almost every meditation, about 6 or 7 days, the last 6 or 7 days of the retreat. He cried and cried and cried. You've got a lot of sympathy. He was single, many women asked for his telephone number. You can understand why, can't you? I know psychology. And he felt great afterwards. So any single men here, start crying. Anyway, at last he was allowed just to be, instead of having all this controlling on him. That's such an important part of meditation. So just keep it natural. See what happens. And that's when you're surprised. For those of you who are out and out Buddhists, who know the Buddha's teachings, sometimes I have to justify this by quoting Buddhist teachings. So I often say at the beginning of any retreat, the Buddha taught 2 types of meditation. Who knows what those 2 types of meditation are? No. If ever I ask you a question, please keep quiet. It's always a trick question. Those 2 types of meditation, you probably know, some of you have seen this answer on YouTube. That's what people always say, but that is not helpful. What is helpful, this is basic Buddhist teachings, 4 Noble Truths. You don't have to know them, but you'll soon find out 2 of them. 2nd Noble Truth meditation and 3rd Noble Truth meditation. What does that mean? All you Buddhists, Sri Lankans especially here, you'd learned Buddhism, from the time you were small in in the Dharma schools, the Buddhist schools, so you know these things. The second noble truth is wanting leads to suffering. So, if you're meditating and not having a good time, if you're frustrated, upset, disappointed, suffering, that proves that you have been doing second noble truth meditation. It's led to suffering. You've been wanting something, trying to get somewhere, trying to get rid of things. That falls under the second noble truth, wanting. And no wonder it leads to suffering and frustration, disappointment. Wanting. Fortunately, there is third noble truth, meditation. And the third noble truth says, letting go of wanting leads to the bliss of Nibbana, freedom, ultimate happiness. So, if you are having a wonderful meditation, if you're blissing out, if tears of joy are streaming down your cheeks, if you think, oh, this is so wonderful, well done. You have just been doing third noble truth meditation. You haven't wanted anything. You've been content, peaceful, still. That is what real meditation is. Simple. Contentment, not wanting anything. Deeper teachings now. I said this afternoon. Some of you came for the introduction at the Jamyang Centre in Kennington this afternoon, but some of you didn't. This was my master using his hand as a visual aid. He said many times, this is a leaf on a tree. It is moving because of the wind. If the wind stopped, the leaf wouldn't stop immediately. It would move less and less and less until it came to perfect stillness. Because it's the nature of a leaf to be still. It is its default position. It only moves because of the wind blowing on it. And he said, this is a simile for your mind, my mind too. My mind only moves because something outside of it makes it move. Wanting something. Whenever you want something, that includes wanting to get rid of stuff. Whenever you want something, your mind moves. That's the wind. If you can stop wanting things, anything, wanting to stop your mind roaming around all over the place, wanting to stop your mind being sleepy, wanting to stop anything, that's also part of wanting. That is the wind which makes your mind move. If you can stop that wind, if you don't want anything in the whole world, then you have peace. Your mind stops moving and becomes still, all by itself. And that stillness is powerful and beautiful and energized. This is something about the human mind which I hope each one of you will discover. It is stillness which energizes the mind, which causes it happiness and bliss and powerful mindfulness. To understand this, which you'll find out from your own experience later on, two parts to the human mind: knowing, doing. The passive part of your mind, which can hear, which can see, which can know, that passive part of the mind I call the knower. You might call it mindfulness, consciousness, It just knows without reacting. The other part of the mind which reacts and does and thinks and plans and struggles and squirms, that is called the doer. Now you've only got a certain amount of energy, a certain amount of petrol in your car for these two engines, the knower and the doer. And your doer, reacting, thinking, trying, that gets 99% of your energy. Most of your energy goes in doing something, reacting. And very little is left for knowing, which is why your mindfulness, the mindfulness of an ordinary person, is very weak. It hasn't got much energy. And if you don't do so much, don't react, don't think so much, don't plan, don't dwell in the past so much, you're not doing very much, you'll be surprised that all the energy which gets wasted in thinking, planning, complaining, all of that is now free to go into the knower, into mindfulness. Your knower wakes up. You become more aware than usual. And on retreats, many times you might notice that. You look at the floor, the grains of the wood really stand out. We've never really noticed them before. You go and see a leaf on a tree, and it's incredible what you see there. You are waking up. On one of the first meditation retreats I did in Cambridge, 9 days, it was a residential retreat, and we were allowed to go for a walk 1 hour every morning before breakfast. Anywhere. Because I was a student at Cambridge, I knew where I was. I knew where, very close by, the botanical gardens. So that's where I chose to go for my walk. I never actually got past the entrance. Because at the entrance there was a clump of bamboo. And as I came the first day, and my meditation was already really good, I looked at that clump of bamboo, and it was the most beautiful bamboo I've ever seen in my life. You know, they paint bamboo in Chinese watercolours because the way that it bends under gravity is just so sensuous. And the way it tapers just so elegantly from the thick base to the very thin tip. And the colours and the tiny leaves, it's so delicate. It is not as full and powerful, say, as an oak tree. It is much more refined. It's a difference between Jimi Hendrix and maybe Chopin. Yeah. It's subtlety. So, actually I used to like Jimi Hendrix, I like oak trees. But some things are much more subtle. It's such a beautiful clump of bamboo. I stared at it for about 10 minutes. I couldn't move. It was so beautiful and captivating. And it was only then I realized if somebody saw me standing still, staring at a piece of bamboo, they'd probably take me away to Fulbourn Hospital, which was a place they took people who had lost their minds in Cambridge. You know, people in England, you don't go and do weird stuff. Other countries you can actually do weird stuff. But sometimes it's against the law. Anyway, so there was a bench, I sat down so I could watch my clump of bamboo undisturbed. I was supposed to be walking, exercise, I never did it. The next day I had to go back for breakfast. Next day I went back, did the same thing, 8 days. I stared at that clump of bamboo, the most beautiful clump of bamboo I'd ever seen in my whole life. Once the retreat was over, back to studies, back to parties, back to socialising. One afternoon I thought, I'm free, let's go and see the most beautiful clump of bamboo in the world. Got on my bicycle, went out there, at the entrance, I saw the most miserable, desiccated, dusty piece of wood I've ever seen in my whole life. Bamboo doesn't grow well in this climate. Where's my beautiful bamboo gone? And that really shook me. Because my mindfulness was so strong. Because I was doing nothing and really energized my knower. Everything looked beautiful. If you get into deep meditation after this retreat, you go and see your grandma. She's more beautiful than Angelina Jolie. Grandma, why aren't you in movies? No, there's a truth to that. Okay, can I tell you? Yeah, come on, okay. One of my favourite stories, which is one of my grossest of stories. Yeah, but I love this one. When I told this in California, in Spirit Rock, it's the one they always remember. And it's a meditation centre just outside of California. And they were just almost weeing themselves with laughter. Anyway, it was a true story. And it has a point to it. It's not just a joke. It has a very important message. And that's, I meditate when I go on retreats, and I've got really great meditation. So I was meditating on a retreat centre over in Australia. My meditation was really flying, powerful meditation, lots of bliss, wow. But just like everybody else, I have to go to the toilet. So I went to the toilet after a really nice meditation and sat on the throne, and I did one. In Australia they call it a number 2. Do you know what number 2 is the same in England? You know what number 2 means? I did a number 2. And afterwards, I made a big mistake. I looked at the contents of the toilet bowl. When I looked, wow! I've never in my whole life seen such a beautiful piece of shit. Now, honestly, look, think about it, guys and girls. Just the way that those little balls are all stuck together. It looked like it was a sculpture. It was like something that Rodin or Michelangelo would put together. The proportions, the shapes, and the way they all interacted together. And there was always a tiny bit of mucus on there somewhere. It was made it glisten like a diamond. It was glistening in the toilet bowl. And the browns, it's not, have a look next time, it's not just one brown, it's all sorts of different shades of brown. And just the way that they interacted, like a painting, like a Picasso. And the browns, they're not just like pale and weak, there's a rich and powerful colours. And then let's get on to the fragrance. The fragrance was earthy, it spoke of nature, of the fundamental essence of life. Oh, it was just incredible, powerful, filling your nostrils. It was a smell sensation. Wow! Honestly, I'm not exaggerating. I looked at that for about 10 minutes, blowing my mind with its beauty. And I did actually think, I contemplated, I need to show this to somebody. I actually thought about that. And it's only because of my training. I've been trained as a monk for many years. I know how to let go of precious, beautiful things. But even then it was a struggle. To press that button on the top of the thing was one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life. To let go of the most beautiful, fragrant, amazing turd I've ever seen. To see it go down the toilet, out of my life forever. Oh, that was traumatic. Okay, that's gross, but it's fun. And the reason I say it is because it's true. And if a piece of shit can look so beautiful, imagine ordinary stuff when you had a good meditation. You empowered your mind. Everything looks beautiful. Everything is respected. Everything is easy to love and be kind to. Even a person has cheated you. They're beautiful. Beforehand they were like a piece of shit. Now they're actually gorgeous. Someone who's really been cruel to you. That's actually how it works. There was one fellow, I'm not sure if he's here, I don't think he is, because I saw him on a retreat which I gave in Germany, and he works for CERN. He's a particle physicist, a really brilliant guy. And I think he came on one of my retreats in Australia recently, and he said one of the things which always fascinated him, as a scientist and a philosopher, is the nature of beauty. Is beauty inherent in things? What actually is beauty? And beauty is a measure of your strength of your mind, how much power and energy it has. And that story actually answered one of these fundamental questions for him. When you're negative and tired and no energy, nothing is beautiful. Nothing at all. You can't even appreciate life. You can't find a partner, there's always something wrong with them. You can't even appreciate yourself. Because you're tired. You've got no energy at all. Nothing is beautiful. That's called depression. If any of you experience depression, everything is grey, nothing is tasty, beauty doesn't exist for you. You're really low energy mind. But once the energy starts to build up, you will find everything starts to look beautiful again. Your food starts to be tasty. The people you know, you can have fun with them again. And the more that you empower your mind, the more that knower grows in strength, the more awake you become, the more mindful, the more that becomes strong, the more happy you become. Everything is beautiful, joyful, fun. Nothing upsets you. That is a sign that you're strengthening your mindfulness, empowering it. The happiness which becomes natural to you. All the great masters I knew in Thailand, the ones who really were enlightened, were so fun to be with. They were so happy messing around, joking. I remember Ajahn Chah, with him for many years, my master, he was so funny. There was this one time, they had holy water. You know holy water, we do holy water in Buddhism as well sometimes. But one day a major general came to see my master Ajahn Chah. And you know how powerful generals are in Thailand? The generals actually run the country now. They're not like generals in England. The generals in England, they've got a little bit of power, but they can't do anything to you. But generals in Thailand, you better watch your step if you upset one of those. They've got lots of power. So when one day this general came to see my teacher Ajahn Chah and asked for some holy water, blessing, I said, come up here, I'll give you special holy water. And the general came up and said, just bow your head. And Ajahn Chah spat on his head. All this saliva came out of his gob, straight onto a major general's head. And I saw that and I thought, Ajahn Chah, you've gone too far this time. You really have pushed your luck one time too many. And not only that, then Ajahn Chah got his hand and rubbed it in. Oh no, don't make it worse. And this general was smiling because Ajahn Chah said, you're the only one I give special holy water to, straight from the mouth of a holy monk. Oh, and the general, thank you, I'm so lucky. And he gave a huge donation. So we are collecting money for Anukampa, so could you come up now? that was my master. He was just so funny to be around. So, why? It's because his mindfulness was so strong. He didn't think very much. All that energy you waste thinking comes up with seeing the joy of life, happiness. So this is what you're going to expect. Now, sometimes you want a serious retreat. If you want a serious retreat, then don't meditate. If you really are meditating, you get happier and happier and happier. That's what meditation is like. That is why I got hooked. The first time I meditated, only 5 minutes, it felt peaceful, it felt good, it felt happy. Real happiness, not fake stuff. And the more I meditated, the more happiness I got. And actually the same retreat, when I was talking about that beautiful bamboo, okay. But that was the time, I had a girlfriend, she was in Gloucester. I had sex with her about a few days before going to the retreat. Good sex. I wasn't a monk, okay? At the time, I was a layman, I was a student. Good sex. And this was important for the story. Look, this is life, okay? Can't monks say those things? I'm talking about life. So anyway, having good sex with my girlfriend, and I left her in Gloucester because I went on this retreat. A few days later, really beautiful meditation, and it was much better than sex with my girlfriend. Now that blew my mind. It was so joyful, so much pleasure, not in the body but in the mind, and lasted much longer. What is going on? No one ever told me about that before. And that was what really got me interested in meditation. And just to finish off with this story, because make sure you come here next week, or tomorrow rather. Not next week, I won't be here. Yeah, tomorrow. Make sure you come here tomorrow if you want the bliss better than sex. Are you interested? It's called marketing. But again, you help out many people. There's a few years ago, had a recovering heroin addict at our monastery. Apparently, some people take heroin, they don't like it. Some people you take one hit of heroin and you can't give it up, ever. It grabs you by the throat and will not let go. So this was one of those poor people just experimenting. He got hooked on his first dose, like many people do. And he was a really good man, had a beautiful wife, so supportive, and trying his utmost to try and give up the habit. But he told me, every day he has to say no 1,000 times. He only has to say yes once, and he's back on the habit. Now that taught me what it must be like. No 1,000, no. You give it once, and you're gone again. But he came to stay in our Buddhist monastery because good people, good support, way away from his bad friends who were trying to encourage him to take more. He was doing so well. He did say yes one time at the very end. He was back again. But while he was there, I always remember him come running up towards me once. And he said, Ajahn Brahm, I never thought I could say this to anybody. I've heard you say that the bliss of meditation is better than sex. But I never thought I'd say the bliss of meditation is better than heroin, which is way more than sex. He got his first good meditation experience better than heroin. Well, that's really saying something. So this is actually my psychology, because I want you to do this. I'm encouraging you. I can't force you. If you're coming here just because you're a Buddhist and you think you should, that doesn't actually lead you on. But this beautiful carrot, this better than sex and heroin. But none of these messy relationships, having to deal with a boy, having to deal with a girl and all the problems you get from that. By yourself, no problems, blissing out big time. Because your meditation is really strong. Now that is really interesting, why and where that leads to. But for now, that is just your temptation to make sure you come early tomorrow. Okay. There's supposed to be some Q&A, questions and answers, and I get in big trouble if I don't do this. So let's do questions and answers for half an hour or so before we finish off for the first night. So it's great to have questions and answers because you give me some feedback, some things which I haven't said or you haven't understood. So please, any questions and answers about the meditation especially. Now I know Venerable Chandra said you're not allowed to speak in this hall, but that doesn't mean you're not allowed to ask questions. You got a question? I thank you for being the first.
Thank you very much for the talk. I wanted to ask you, what's the difference between...
Yep.
It's not on.
It's not on. Yeah, good.
Is it on?
It is, yes.
I wanted to ask you, what's the difference between thinking and knowing? Because I think, when I think I know, how do you differentiate stop thinking and then...
Okay. Okay, here's my example. Okay, very good. Just over a year ago, I think in September 2015, I gave the keynote address at a prestigious international conference in Daejeon, South Korea. They flew me business class all the way from Australia to South Korea, put me up in a really swish hotel, all expenses paid, plus I think they gave about $1,000 Australian dollars afterwards as honorarium. You know what the conference was? The 2015 World Computer Congress. And you ask, what the hell is a Buddhist monk doing? Teaching CEOs from LG, from Samsung, the cybersecurity heads of the European Union. What was I doing? Teaching these guys. And this is what I taught them on innovation. Because innovation, obviously in IT, is crucial to keeping ahead of the game. Actually, I used a water bottle, this cup of water will do. I held it up, as I'm doing to you, and I asked you, and please you must speak this time. This is not a trick. This is a demonstration. What is this I'm holding up? What is it? Someone say. Cup, what else is it? What else can you describe for me?
Plastic.
Plastic, what else? What else? What else? What else? Now look, there's no right answer here. Every longer you look, the more you see. Most people, when I'd ask this, is a glass of water, and you stop even looking anymore. The thought, the description, you think had totally grabbed this, and there was nothing more. And I forced you, I asked you, keep on looking, what else can you see here? Keep on looking, don't shout it out now, what can you see? The longer you look, the more you see. And soon comes a time you haven't got any names left for what you see. All those names, which are the bricks of thoughts, are what you heard at school. Boy, girl, house, tree, dog. Your thoughts are made of such language which tricks you into assuming you know the object. Ajahn Brahm It's much more than Ajahn Brahm here. The names are what makes up the thoughts. Keep on looking, what do you see? After a while, everything you've ever been taught about this, you go past. You start seeing this thing fresh for the first time. That is when thoughts end and knowing starts. All the thoughts are old stuff. What you've been taught, what you've been conditioned with, what you've learnt. And to me, I always say, never allow your learning to stand in the way of truth. If you understand what I mean, learning, thoughts, descriptions, that's what blocks the truth. When I was at my nuns' monastery in Perth, I was making a teaching by messing about, by being silly again, but it was an important teaching. I asked the head nun, Ayahasapanya, I need to go to the toilet, where's the toilet? I knew where the toilet was, but that wasn't the point. She said, over there. There's a big sign on the door, toilet. So I pretended to urinate on the door. What are you talking about? Well, you said there's a toilet. It actually says toilet on the door. That's the toilet. You know, the sign is there. Toilet on the door. It's same here. If you go outside, you see the word ladies, gents. So urinate on the door. That's what it says. Obviously, that's a signpost pointing to where the real toilet is. The door is in the toilet, the sign is in the toilet, the sign is pointing, the toilet's inside. The thoughts are like the sign on the toilet. It's pointing to something, but sometimes we just stop at the sign and we don't follow where the sign is pointing to. Little exercise. I'm going to say a word. I want you to listen to what happens in your mind afterwards. Peace. 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 After a while, your mind actually follows where that word is pointing to. And you get a taste of what peace actually is. It's not the word. It's where the word points to. Peace. Can you feel it? Peace. That's not thinking. That's knowing. And in this meditation, you go way beyond the thoughts. At last you know the world. You know peace. You know beauty. Interesting, just go on a tangent. Kindness, compassion. You know, it says so much about compassion and kindness in Buddhism and all religions. One day somebody was honest. He said, I don't know what compassion is. No one's ever taught me. They've ever said just be compassionate. What am I supposed to do? And that really opened up a huge area. Very few people know what kindness is. You need to be taught what compassion is. And that's a wonderful segue into this other teacher sitting between us. Teddy bear. That's why we've got one here. If you're very lucky, you can grab one in the meditation. Put it on your lap and cuddle it. And I don't just cuddle it, after I cuddle it, just like I said, peace, 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 cuddle, cuddle, cuddle. And I can feel compassion, softness, gentleness. This is what the teddy bear elicits in me. Safety, comfort. We call this bear awareness. I don't know what you thought bear awareness meant. This is bear awareness. But it teaches people how to be compassionate. In my retreat, this actually comes from my retreat centre, it's on holiday from my retreat centre in London. We have, I don't know, about 20 or 30 teddy bears. People donate them, we collect them. So during a retreat, people can actually hold a teddy bear. And their meditation takes off. It would really get deep. Because the missing ingredient of kindness, compassion, and they feel what kindness is by covering a teddy bear. Now, we've got to teach people what kindness, compassion is. We think we know, but it's just the word, the thought. We've got to know it. When all the thoughts are pointing somewhere, we follow. That is not the thought anymore, that is a knowing. So thank you for that excellent question. Okay, next question. Sorry?
You don't have to come to the microphone if you don't like it.
Yeah, you can shout it out, I'll repeat it. I can hear from here.
Okay, so Ajahn Brahm said that it is a great fun to be, which is the case with you, around the master, and having fun and laugh, it helps keeping a good health. But then, and you mentioned the word stroke as well. And you mentioned the word stroke. And Ajahn Chah had a stroke.
Yeah.
And he lived with it for 10 years, which was a great suffering, obviously.
Yeah.
So why did he not avoid, even though he was a fun and
No, for Ajahn Chah, I was with him at that time, and my take on that, he was working far too hard. There's very, very few teachers like him, and so many people would come and suck out his energy. And I always thought that he was so powerful he could withstand that. But it was just basic exhaustion, hardly sleeping, early in the morning, late at night, helping other people. It's because of that I will always make sure that this evening at 9:30 I'm going to bed. I don't want to go back into the shower. So his kindness was a bit too strong. He gave too much, he shouldn't have done that. That was his mistake. It was so fun to be with. Yeah.
Ajahn Brahm, it feels like such a bad world right now, so much war, so many problems, and here we are, I really feel like Buddhism has a lot of the answers. We're centering ourselves, we're being kind, we're being gentle. I just feel sometimes that there's just too few of us, only 2-3% of the planet is Buddhist. It just feels a bit hopeless sometimes.
Yeah, there was, in Australia, there is a very well-known discussion program in Australia called Q&A. And it really is, it's in the news the next day. They managed to get some really good people discussing very important topics. And once recently they were discussing the war in Syria. And one of the panel was the editor of The Spectator, here in UK. And they asked him, as an editor of a famous publication, what is your solution, to the war in Syria? You know what he said? This is one of the reasons I heard about it. Once you find out what he said, you'll understand what I know about it. He said that his paper had just published the results of an experiment done in Sussex University on meditation and aggression. And he found out that when you do meditation, even other people meditating, they actually reduce the aggression of the people around them enormously. So he said his solution, this is what the editor of The Spectator said, his solution was for the RAF in England not to drop bombs in Syria, but to parachute in Buddhist monks and nuns. And he said that will calm everybody down. And that's why I heard about it. And when somebody said, what do you think about that? I said, well, I know a couple of monks I would love to parachute. We always have our troublemakers in every organisation. I always make jokes of things. But it's true, I'm doing my best, sir, to try and convert everybody. But actually, my plan, I told a few people my secret plan. And the Dalai Lama keeps on saying we know how to convert people. That is bullshit too. Of course we are. If you've got something beautiful, you want to share it. If you're a doctor, you want to convert people who are sick to being healthy. Of course you want to do that. So my job is that it's just so hard, to keep giving retreats, even YouTube. Come on, let's go for broke. So my goal in my next 10 years is to convert the Pope. Because once you have the Pope as a Buddhist, then you get how many billion Catholics? You get all the Catholics and Buddhists in the world. You get all this amazing infrastructure. The Vatican, we've already got one place similar to this in England. It won't be the Vatican, it will be the Amarawati can. No, Amawati? No, Ajahn Amro's monastery, you've been there? So that would be the Amawati, and the main monastery would be Amawati can. Amaravati can. Anyway, and so you have all this great infrastructure. You won't need to collect any money for projects anymore because the Catholics are so rich. All my problems will be solved, and I would have helped you, sir. So Buddhism. But sometimes I like to think weird, because sometimes it's, when you think outside the box, it actually gives you some ideas. And the idea was actually quite practical, because when I started saying that, I found out, according to canon law which runs Catholicism, the next pope does not have to be one of the cardinals. The cardinals elect the pope, but the cardinals can elect anybody they want. They don't need to be a cardinal, they don't need to be a priest, they can be anybody. Anybody, even a Buddhist? Yeah, in theory. So I'm going to prepare my CV and submit it when this Pope dies. Now look, wouldn't that be an amazing gesture for our world? A gesture of harmony, interfaith cooperation. I mean, all the popes for 2,000 years have been Catholics, Christians. Why can't we have a Buddhist pope? The President of the United States for so many years had to be white male. Now it's a black African. Soon it'll probably be a girl. The President of the United States keeps changing, so why does a Pope always have to be a Catholic? Try a Buddhist next time. Think outside the box. So I'm putting my hand up for the next election. Some people think that's stupid, who knows? Strange things happen. Who'd ever thought that Mr. Trump would get so far? If he could actually get so far, an idiot standing for the presidency of the United States, maybe I can get quite far standing as Pope. Anyway, now I'm doing my best, sir. There's also the way Buddhism is presented sometimes. Too serious, too intellectual, and it doesn't relate to people. And that's something which really cuts me up. Because, I am not just on the edges of Buddhism. I'm the most traditional Buddhist you can possibly find. What I say is right from the essence, the core. I've done my studies, I know my Pali, I know my sutras and my Vinaya. And that really actually quite scares a lot of other Buddhists. I know I can argue with them on all levels. But what I do love about this Dharma, it's got no bullshit to it. You don't have to give up your autonomy to some god in the sky. You don't have to give up your autonomy to some fat monk sitting in front of the microphone. My job is to empower you, not to take your power off, to free you to be independent, not to tell you what to do. Just like you love your mind enough, if your mind wants to go, fine, it always come back. I will never tell you what to do. which is why too many people come back. You see the way I teach? Kindness, freedom, no controlling. That is the way where we can build a much better world. Even in health. I was telling people that when you have a cancer, one of the terrible things about a cancer, you lose autonomy over your body. The doctor tells you what to do, what to eat, what to get into your system. And it is so demeaning, even though the medical fraternity don't mean to do this. Before you can decide what to eat, decide what to do, where to go. But now there's many things prohibited. Some specialists tell us, no, you can't do this anymore. And that your whole future now depends upon somebody else. It's not your karma anymore. It's the skill of the professionals. And that demeans you, takes away this autonomy, this independence. And that is terrible. So I know that. And I want people, no matter what disease you are, please take control over the treatment. Even if it's just making a choice between two different courses, at least you're making the choice. You feel in charge. And just that gives a huge boost to your sense of self-esteem. You're taking control again. And that really helps in your health and recovery. You're no longer a victim. You can decide. You have choice, and you're exercising choice. Too often in sicknesses, all your choice is taken away. And that causes a lot of depression, which makes the sickness worse. Okay, yeah, go on.
Just as a follow-up from what you're saying, I'm actually a cancer specialist now, so I work in London.
Yeah.
And part of my role within the NHS, when cancer patients have had their treatment, we teach them mindfulness and meditation.
Great.
We sense them, we allow them to give their choices to get back to the medicine they want today.
Excellent.
And that's on the NHS, that's every person.
Okay, hope you heard that. Did you hear that okay? Okay, she was saying that she is part of the cancer specialist working for the NHS, and the NHS now is doing everything which I just suggested, which is so important for the treatment. It's not just the specialist, the medication, the chemotherapy, the radiation therapy, it is also the mindfulness, meditation, kindness therapy as well. Really important. So that's one of the reasons. And look, this Buddhism, okay, of course I'm promoting Buddhism because I'm a Buddhist. It has had this ever since the beginning. And this is one of the reasons why, it is, if it's presented properly, someone can actually take those incredible teachings and present them in a modern language. Use a shit word. Use the bullshit. Talk to people, how they can understand things. Make it enjoyable. It's just so powerful, so meaningful. How many people, when I came in here, you said, I've seen you on YouTube, you saved my life, without you I would suicide, I had a terrible marriage and you got me through it. I think about 10 people said that when I came in here early. It works. That's big time. Now why can't this go out further and help solve some of the problems in the world? I'm doing my bit. So maybe if I can't stand for Pope, maybe I can stand for... Actually, I've still got a British passport, so can I be the next Prime Minister? Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, some of you get involved as well. Sometimes that people think that Buddhism is just let go and have no kindness, no concern at all, no involvement. The reason I'm here, I don't need to. I've got this beautiful monastery, lovely cave, lots of money. I'm doing more than enough. I should be back in England meditating, enjoying myself peacefully. The reason I'm here is to help this young lady, this nun. You all know that I did something, it's supposed to be stupid, controversial. Giving women the same rights in Buddhism as men to fully ordain. What's controversial about that? It's actually controversial not to do it. Totally un-Buddhist to discriminate. So, gave Bhikkhuni ordination. That's not enough, you've got to do it fully. There are no places for Theravada Bhikkhunis to stay in this country. There's places for monks, many places, but not for people like Sister Chanda. So basically I did her twisting of her arm to say to her, come on, I know this is hard work for you, set something up in UK. So every woman here who one day, maybe you might not want to, but maybe one day you might want to take ordination and be treated with the same respect and equality as monks. Not to be second-class monks and always have to do what the monks tell you to do, but for you to actually to take this Buddhism to the same level as monks, fully ordained bhikkhunis. So I want to make that happen. Now that's what I'm doing to try and make this a better place, the world a better place. I know enough about sociology. Research paper after research paper after research paper after research paper has actually shown when you empower women, then so many social problems in the community disappear. Much of the violence in the Middle East is not so much is because of Islam, because of disempowerment of women in those countries. I remember reading Ali Hurst Ali. She was an ex-Muslim who, a refugee, went to the Netherlands and became an MP. Brilliant lady. You know, she knows from experience what it's like to live in such a society, Islamic society, where there's so much repression. And she was actually saying that that is the most powerful way of overcoming religious extremism in Islam, empowering women. That's also one of the reasons why that young schoolgirl, Malali, was shot in the bus by the Taliban. What were they doing shooting a small girl? Because they're smart enough that that challenges them more than the drones flying over Pakistan from the US. Someone who speaks up for education for women, Malali, that was more of a threat than anything which the US could throw at them. Empowerment, equity. And I'm disgusted at Buddhism trying to stop that. We're compassionate. You want to make a better world. That is part of it. So okay, I'm being sort of passionate about this. You may say political, but for me that's Buddhism. You've got to be compassionate, you've got to do something. Don't just sit there. Sit there most of the time, but sometimes do stuff. And I'm in this position now. You know, I'm really popular. It's amazing walking through London. I get stopped by people. How many times do people actually stop?
Every journey.
Yeah, every journey. Even in a bus from, what was it, a bus from East Croydon to the Thames Buddhist Vihara. So I said, oh, Ajahn Brahm, I see you in Penang. Ajahn Brahm, I see you on YouTube. So, yeah, for some reason, people like this. So I'm going to make use of this. I'm going to actually use some being high profile to do so with the world. I can, and the Dalai Lama should do as well. Get out there, use his position to actually to give. One thing we can do is so easy, gender equity. And that by itself, you know, in Buddhism, in Buddhist countries, will solve a lot of the problems. In Burma, with the Rohingyas, in Sri Lanka, solving the lingering problem of the Tamils. It's still there apparently. It's being suppressed, it's being healed, but when there's no equity there, then Buddhism loses its authority, loses its purity, loses its moral power to do something for the world. So actually, I'm not just doing this is a big thing, what we're doing, giving equity to women by encouraging more women to become Buddhist nuns by providing the resources. I think it is big. I don't know, I may be wrong, but I think this is something as a Buddhist we can do to really make a difference. It's not for me. I don't get anything out of this except a sore butt and a tired mouth from all the smiling for the photographs. Anyway, I'm just going to do nothing to do with the retreat, but I think that's important. And it's your question, so thank you. Another question, yes?
My older son is 4 years old, and I try to give him lots of kindness. Sometimes I feel like he's taking advantage of me.
Look, that's what a father is for, to be taken advantage of. That's what I'm for. I say this to people, look, that's the meaning of my life, take advantage of me as much as you like. If you say I get tired, send me to the hotel to take a rest, so you can take advantage of me tomorrow. So the boundaries are to make sure you have enough time for yourself, to be peaceful, to rest, to go to work, so your son can continue to take advantage of you for many more years. What is the meaning of life anyway? To be taken advantage of. To see how much you can give, how much you can serve. Not how much you can get in life, but how much you can serve and help and give. That's the meaning of life. And I'm just such a privileged position, how much I can give. So, I'm going to give more, and more, and more, and more, and more. Don't ever think you get exhausted. Ajahn tried it, he gave up too much. But a lot of times, really busy, should be jet lagged, but when you give, you get so much energy back. When you serve others, you don't get tired. If you join any charity, a church, a temple, an old people's home, you can work so hard for them that you can ever work at home. You work at home, you get exhausted. You work for others, you don't get exhausted. You get energy. What's going on? Service is a beautiful form of energy. It's one of the things, if ever you get depressed, maybe seriously depression, go to see the doctor and the psychologist. But if you just get a little bit depressed, volunteer to do something for others. That gives you huge energy, overcomes depression. Such a simple way. If you're just by yourself, you lose a sense of self-worth. You just go and help others in any which way you want, then you get a huge boost of self-worth and energy back. You're a good person, you know it. You've just been helping out in the hospital, just volunteering. You get energized. Don't think you're too tired to do that, you're too busy. It's free energy. Okay. Any other question before we finish off? One last question. Yes, you got your hand up first, sir.
Ajahn Brahm, so you mentioned that meditation is very tastier than sex.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you interested?
I recently heard a few talks about something called Tantra, and these guys say even through senses or even through sex, we can reach enlightenment. So what is your thoughts on that?
Bullshit. Someone once asked His Holiness the Dalai Lama about that. The Tantra, having sex, without attachment. He said the only monks who can do that, he only said monks, are ones, and this is his simile. He said if you can eat some shit without any disgust, without any sort of repulsion, then you are trained enough to do that tantra. And the interviewer said, do you know any monk who can do that? He said, no. So if you want to try that, sir, please do the prerequisite tests. And if you pass, then you can go on to the next level. Okay, I think, shall we finish off now, or one last question? What do you reckon?
Whatever.
Okay, we finish off. Oh, you got one last question, yeah, then we finish off.
My question might be very, very naive.
Yeah?
I kind of want to understand the reflection now. If we want to be compassionate and kind and use all the principles in Buddhism, why is it necessary to have like nuns and monks? Why not just keep the knowledge and pass it on? Why is it necessary to have the communion of the monks and the nuns?
Yeah. Why we do that is because when meditation bliss becomes better than sex, it means you're not interested in sex anymore. It's not as if you're denying yourself, like, I feel sorry for Catholic priests being celibate. They just have to endure. And for me that's just so cruel. And in Catholicism, once you're a priest, you're always a priest. There's no reverse, there's no exit. So some of these poor priests, they ordain, for a good reason, they're young, they're inspired, and after a while they feel it's wrong for them and they can't get out. One of the great things for Catholicism, if you ever do meet the Pope, that's one thing to say, please let the priests, if they're not happy, let them leave. In monasticism, any monk, any nun who's not happy can leave any time. I can leave right here, right now, if I'm not happy being a monk. So you're only there because you're happy being there. And the reason why, you are a monk, because it fits. The lifestyle of simplicity, of celibacy, of a group of like-minded people living together, that's really important of a community. You try and do that by yourself, and you find it more and more difficult. You're a young lady, say, I want to be celibate, and all these guys come up to you, oh, that means you're free. Will you come out with me? Or if you're a sort of a lesbian, all these girls say, oh, you look really nice. You want to come out for dinner? If they see you as a monk, they know you're off limits. So we don't get that. So they understand what a monk is. It means, look, I travel very simply. I just got one bag, which I carry through the airport. When I travel through the airport, sometimes the customs stops me. Where is your baggage, sir? So this is all I've got. Explain. And I say, I'm a monk. Oh, yes, very good. Off you go. Because simplicity, few possessions, that has a name. Monk, nun. So if that's who you are, that's who you should call yourself. We don't always have to be a monk, always have to be a nun. So you can come and go. If that's what you really want to do now, that's actually why I became a monk. I was inspired, just finished a relationship. I wanted to find out more about this meditation. And I found out in Thailand, you can become a monk for however long you want. So I thought, 1 year, maybe 2 years at most. Now get enlightened and get that out of the way. And then go on to a real life. That's what I thought. But as soon as I became a monk, I just love this life. Simplicity, peace. You're expected to meditate a lot, so you're encouraged to meditate a lot. Sometimes at home, you may be sitting there and you say, your friend, your partner says, what are you doing? You say, nothing. Oh great, come and give me a hand. At a monastery, when I say I'm doing nothing, say, oh well done, carry on. Because they understand that's what a monk's supposed to do. That's what a nun's supposed to do. So it actually is much easier. If this is a lifestyle, you don't have to be, but if this is your lifestyle, your preference, then if you like treating animals, call yourself a vet. You don't have to call yourself a vet, but it helps to get business. And also the advantage as well, because if you form a community and you call monks, it is religious, and it has advantages. I know that sometimes people ask me, is Buddhism really a religion? And my standard answer is yes, for tax purposes. So you get benefits if you're monks and nuns and you are religious. You know, you are who you say you are. So giving yourself a name, a label, sometimes does help. It can hinder as well, if you believe that label too much. It's only a temporary label to help people. Why do, you're a girl, why do you have to go into the girls' toilets? You know what happens in all retreats, all conferences, the male toilets are empty and there's always a queue for the girl toilets. Female. Have you seen that? Yes. So why don't you use the male toilets? Are you attached to your label? Hee 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 hee. Yeah. But sometimes I do that. Out of compassion, is male toilets are empty, female toilets are full. I say, you go in here, I'll stand guard outside. It's out of compassion. But no, we have to do that. We have to understand our sort of labels, which aren't all that true. And it makes life a bit more easy. Otherwise you might get sent to prison for being a weirdo. So anyway, okay, it's 9:30 now. You're not staying here, you're going to your hotels, your homes, wherever. So great to see you here tomorrow morning at 9:30. 9 o'clock. Oh, at 9 o'clock. Live in the present moment. Whatever time you come here is fine. And we do some more meditation, more teachings, and actually doing more meditation tomorrow as well. There's nothing like practice.